Hey everybody, Trisha here. So today we're going to talk about, is it even possible to retire now? So if you don't know me, my name is Trisha. I retired at 57 years old and I'm living proof that yes, it is possible to retire early. But you have to want to retire more than you want to continue to do the same things that you're doing now. So if that's you and you're interested in retiring early, then these are the top 5 recommendations that I think can enable you to do that. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do in order to enable yourself to be able to retire early is you need to stop spending money frivolously. Spending it on crap, spending it on things that make you feel good immediately, but don't have lasting value. For example, that aloe sweatsuit is cute, but, you know, after a couple washes, it looks a little tattered. All the little balls start forming on it and really doesn't do anything different than a nice quality $50 sweatsuit might do, but you bought it because of the name. So that's the kind of crap we need to cut out. We need to cut out trying to compete with the Joneses and purchasing things that really aren't any better than anything else. And so don't waste your money on something that just because of the name. It's more important that you can look at your bank account and see it growing versus having a name brand, that you're wearing. So that would be my first suggestion in being able to position yourself to retire early, is to cut the crap out of your life. Okay, so once you've done that, then the next suggestion that I would recommend is to stop spending so much money eating out. You can't afford to go have a coffee every single day. Stopping and getting a coffee is expensive. And then you add on lunch and dinner if you go out, and you're easily spending $100 a day. And that $100 is now $700 for the week. And that's $2,800 a month on food or eating out. And that's just, it's impractical. It's not going to allow you to get to where you want to go. And if your objective is to retire early, then you do have to make some adjustments. And that would be a key adjustment by not going out to eat, all the time, and minimizing how much you're spending eating out, go into cheaper options when you do eat out, and trying to cook at home as much as you possibly can. That's really going to set you on a path of where you'll be able to put more money into your investments so that you can retire early. The number 3 thing that I would suggest is to not finance anything. Do not go out and buy a brand new car. There's no reason for you to spend that kind of money. The average price right now for a brand new car is, I think, over $45,000. And, you really set yourself in a bind when you're obligating yourself to such a large expense early on in your years. So my recommendation is to, if at all possible, to buy a used Honda, Toyota, something that's going to last you a good 10 years, so that that money in the market when you're younger is so much more valuable. So if you could limit the amount of money that you're spending on your transportation to get to your job, the better off you're going to be. So I had a 2011 Honda Civic that we just drove into the ground. I don't think I spent probably more than a couple $1,000s in the entire time that I had it on maintenance. It was just such a dependable car. And I think I spent out of pocket total 13,000, and it went over 300,000 miles before we actually got rear-ended and we had to total it, which is very sad because it probably would have went on to another 100,000 miles. But that's the kind of car you want to pick up. Something that's dependable, something that is cheap. Okay, so from the first 3 things, not spending on crap, not eating out and spending all your money on food, and then not financing a new car or anything like that. You want to take your savings from those three areas and you want to invest that money in a S&P 500 index fund. That's the easiest way to ensure that your money will continue to grow over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And that's how you reach early retirement, is by putting in all of those savings that you have from, not wasting your money and investing them. And over time, that compound will create enough for you to be able to retire early, hopefully in the future. So that would be my fourth suggestion, is to take those savings and any additional savings. If you get a raise, if you get, I don't know, any kind of significant, gifts or anything, a bonus from work that you can take and you can add to that, I would continue to add to that S&P 500 index fund like VTSAX on Vanguard or VTI. And, their average is above 10% a year if you average it. So that's what you want to do with your money. And that would be my recommendation number 4. And then my fifth recommendation would be to treat getting ready for early retirement like you do working out, like you're trying to, get your body in shape to be able to go hike up this big mountain. You want to treat wealth knowledge like you do a gym membership. You're dedicated, you're consistent, you are improving daily, and your knowledge of the subject is increasing. So, recommendation number 5 is to really fall in love with the idea of watching your money grow, looking at it monthly to see, wow, I made $1,000 this month just on, the growth of my portfolio, or I made $5,000 this month. Really being able to look at it and measure it and to see the growth in it. I think that's probably the most significant thing you can do to help change your mindset to a wealth mindset. So that would be my fifth recommendation, is to treat it like a gym membership and be dedicated and be disciplined to those things in steps 1 through 4. Okay, so those are my recommendations on how you can reach early retirement. Hopefully that's been helpful. Once again, I've done the D. I've gone through it. I have, shared my experiences with how I was able to achieve it. And I'm hoping that, if you're somebody who truly wants to reach early retirement, that those are helpful to you in allowing you to succeed in reaching your goals. Okay. Thanks again for following. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll talk next week. Bye bye.